everyone, good evening, and a very warm welcome to Thorough Newspaper Analysis. Today is 18th of July, and this entire video series it's brought to you by LawSikho. So now let's head to the agenda for today. The first segment is the editorial segment, and here we talk about this article which is titled as New Norms for Senior Advocates, What Changes? So here essentially we're going to have a look at the new changes that have been come about in the 2018 guidelines for the purpose of designating an advocate as a senior advocate. Secondly, we have a look at important news updates for the day, and this is going to be followed by the legal news update segment. So without a further ado, let's get ahead and start with the discussion around this article. So let's understand the issue that's involved in today's article at the very outset. There are certain guidelines which came about in the case of Indira Jaising versus Union of India in the year 2018. By virtue of these guidelines, the Supreme Court gave certain directives on how to designate an advocate as a senior advocate. However, recently the Supreme Court it revised these guidelines, and this entire revision process, it is based on a plea that sought the modifications of the guidelines that we had in the year 2018. So let's understand in a chronological order the guidelines that we had at different points in time for the purpose of such designation. And for that, first we go to the Advocates Act of 1961. See, there is a provision in the Advocates Act, which is Section 16, and particularly Section 16, subsection 2. This section provides that an advocate he could get the designation of a senior advocate if the Supreme Court or a High Court was of the opinion that by virtue of his ability, his standing at the bar, or special knowledge or experience of law, he deserves the designation or the distinction. So this was the first criteria that we had. Now, following this in 2018, by virtue of this particular judgment, the Supreme Court gave certain other directives. So Indira Jaising, the first woman senior advocate, she sought some transparency in the entire designation process, and as a result, these guidelines came about. These guidelines they discourage the system of voting by secret ballot. However, exception is also provided, which is that whenever there is an unavoidable case or circumstance, then there was a provision for designating or choosing such an advocate as the senior advocate, taking recourse to secret ballot voting system. And secondly, by virtue of these guidelines, a committee was constituted, and so was a permanent secretariat. What is the composition of committee? It was to be chaired by the Chief Justice of India, and it was to comprise two senior-most Supreme Court judges, the Attorney General of India, and also a member from the bar. This member, he was to be nominated on a mutual vote by the CGI and also the other members of the committee. Now let's understand as to what was the process of designating the advocates here. So before we do that, there were two methods by virtue of which an advocate could submit or be nominated for consideration for this designation. So either the Chief Justice or any other judge used to recommend the name of an advocate for such designation, or alternatively, the advocates they were also given a choice that you file your application before the permanent secretariat. There, they used to be evaluated on criteria like whether you have 10 to 12 years of standing as a legal practitioner, be it as an advocate or a district judge or a judicial member in any Indian tribunal. And then the committee, it also interviewed these candidates. And after the interview, they used to make like an overall evaluation. This evaluation was based on a point system, and these advocates they were given points or marks for, let's say, the years of practice, the pro bono work that they used to carry out, both as advocates and again as a member of any judicial forum, and also the judgments that have come about in their matters, the number of publications they had, and the personality test, of course. So, a question might arise as to why this change, as in what was the lacuna in the existing system, and what brought about this change. So in February this year, the center it filed an application whereby it sought changes in these guidelines, and the premise on which the center's application was based, it was that 40% weightage it was given in the selection criteria to publications, to personality, and to suitability, which was tested by an interview. So center was of the opinion that this criteria or 40% weightage it diluted the esteem and the dignity of the honor. And also the center also had like a very important point to make, which is that nowadays I'm sure all of you are also aware that there are a lot of bogus journal publications as well, where if you pay like a nominal fee of 1,000 or 1,500, you can get an article published by your name. So the center it argued that the requirements they've resulted in ousting otherwise eligible candidates based on factors which were not very germane, very essential for being designated as a senior advocate. Finally, this application it sought the reinstatement of rule of a simple majority by a secret ballot where judges can express their views about any candidate without any embarrassment. This is what was written in the center's application. So now that we've talked about the entire background, let's understand what are the changes so made. So firstly, the new guidelines, they prescribe the minimum age for the designation at 45 years. However, this age, it is relaxable. That is, it may be relaxed by the committee, the CGI, or any Supreme Court judge if they have recommended an advocate's name. So, although here we need to understand one thing, that by virtue of the 2018 guidelines, CGI along with any judge could recommend an advocate's name for the purpose of considering his or her portfolio for being designated as the senior advocate. The 2023 guideline they specify that the CGI along with any judge of the Supreme Court may recommend the name. Also, previously the guidelines they set aside 15 marks for publication. Now the new norm it changed this weightage of 15 marks to 5 marks. So which means the center's concern is now accommodated. And the new guidelines also state that these this marks it also includes guest lectures which are delivered in law schools and professional institutions which are connected with law. Besides this, the weightage which is given to judgments, excluding orders that do not lay any point or proposition of law, so the weightage of judgments it is increased from 40 to 50% or 50 points. I'm sorry. So with this, now we proceed to the next segment for today. And now we proceed to the national news category for today, and this is the first update here. The state of Nagaland it has reinforced its total ban on single-use plastic in the state. By virtue of this ban, the manufacture, import, stocking, distribution, sale, and the use of carry bags, which is made out of mud, virgin, or recycled plastic, it has been prohibited. Apart from these, plastic cups, plates, glasses, and cutlery items, they've also been banned. The state government it is categorically warned that inspections would be conducted at regular intervals, and those who are found defaulting on these norms, they would be heavily penalized. The next update, it also comes from another northeastern state. So in order to address the raging human-elephant conflict in the state of Assam, Aranyak, which is an NGO based out of Guwahati, it has launched a very innovative outreach program or campaign which is called Gajah Kotha or the Elephant Story. The purpose of this campaign it is to foster coexistence between the local communities and the elephants. The initiative it targets the conflict affected villages in the eastern portion of Assam and to counsel the villagers about the elephants' behavior, their ecology, the cultural connection they share with the region, and most importantly, the significance that lies in their conservation. Next, we have a very important update. So, India and UAE they've signed historic MOU on LCS system. LCS stands for Local Currency Settlement System. It allows for the use of the Indian rupee and the UAE currency in bilateral trade, thus marking India's first ever LCS arrangement. This innovative system, it is expected to have a transformative impact on the transaction costs and the processing time while also increasing reliance on local currencies. The agreement, it comes as a very significant milestone in the rapidly evolving India-UAE relationship, and this is in line with the vision statement which was unveiled by the two leaders while they met in a virtual summit in February of last year. This landmark agreement, it signifies not only the deepening economic ties that we share with UAE, but it also sets a precedent for other countries for exploring local currency settlement mechanisms. Now we have updates in the sports segment for today. Parul Chaudhary, she bags a gold in women's 3000-meter steeplechase event. Long distance runner Parul Chaudhary, she has won the fifth gold for India in the ongoing Asian Athletics Championship. The 28-year-old has obtained a huge lead at the fag end of the event for the purpose of clinching the 3000-meter steeplechase event in the women's category. South Zone, it clinches the Duleep Trophy. South Zone, it has emerged champions of the Duleep Trophy, beating the West Zone by 75 runs on the concluding day of the final, which was held at the Chinnaswamy Stadium in Bangalore. The much awaited credit of South Zone's victory, it would go to their bowlers who led from the front, and particularly we have the man of the series and man of the match, who is 24-year-old Vidwath Kavarappa. The 24-year-old Karnataka right-arm quick, he made his first-class debut in 2021-2022 Ranji Trophy. He finished the competition with 15 wickets from 4 innings, which essentially earned him both of these awards, which is Man of the Match and Man of the Series. Let's have an understanding of this, the background of this trophy for a quick reference. So it is known as the Mastercard Duleep Trophy due to the sponsorship reasons. It is a domestic first-class cricket tournament competition which is played in our country. It is named after Kumar Shri Duleep Singh Ji of Navanagar. This competition was originally contested by teams representing geographical zones of India. The Union Minister of Education and Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, he launched AI for India 2.0, which is a free online training program on artificial intelligence. This launch happened on the occasion of World Youth Skills Day. It is a joint initiative of Skill India and GUVI, which is an IIT Madras incubated startup tech platform. This platform enables tech learning in vernacular or local languages. This program itself has been curated in 9 different Indian languages. IIT-Delhi, it is all set to open a campus in Abu Dhabi, and this is with the signing of an MOU between the Ministry of Education and the Abu Dhabi Department of Education and Knowledge in the presence of the Prime Minister and the President of India and UAE respectively. This will be IIT's second international campus because earlier on 6th of July, IIT Madras, it has signed an MOU for the purpose of setting up its campus in Tanzania. And now we proceed to the international segment, and this is the first update. Britain signs treaty to join Trans-Pacific Trade Pact. Britain, it has formally signed the treaty to join a major Trans-Pacific Trade Pact, thus becoming the first new country to take part since its inception in 2018, and thereby also opening the way for members to consider other applications, including from China and Taiwan. The signing, it was part of the Comprehensive Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership Commission meeting that was being held in New Zealand. The partnership, it is a landmark trade pact which was signed in 2018 between a group of 11 countries, and Britain, it is now all set to become the 12th country. Saudi Arabia, it becomes the 51st country to sign ASEAN STAC. Saudi Arabia, it becomes or it has signed the Treaty of Amity and of Cooperation with ASEAN, bringing the bloc into closer relationship with the Middle Eastern nation. This cooperation treaty, it is an accord that was signed by the member states back in 1976, and this accord, it comprises a code of conduct for interstate relation in the Southeastern Asian region. It embodies the principles of peaceful and friendly cooperation. By virtue of an amendment in the treaty in the year 2010, now countries outside this region or regional bloc, they are also allowed to become members of the treaty. Now, this is also a very historic and important update. This update, it pertains to Wimbledon 2023. Carlos Alcaraz, he defeats Novak Djokovic and he wins men's final. Men's World Cup number 1, Carlos Alcaraz, he produced a stunning performance to claim his maiden Wimbledon title and end Novak's 34-match win streak at the All India England club. Alcaraz's victory, it also ended a 45-match win streak for Novak on center court. Carlos, he won his second career Grand Slam singles title. He also has become the first man to defeat Novak on Wimbledon's center court since Andy Murray in the year 2013. And now we have an update pertaining to important celebratory days. This update pertains to the World Day for International Justice. The International Criminal Court, it observes the day for or of International Criminal Justice on 17th of July every year. The significant date, it commemorates the adoption of the Rome Statute on 17th of July in the year 1998, which established the ICC. This day, it is celebrated to raise awareness and to promote and support for the cause of international justice, particularly the ICC. And this has brought us to the legal update segment for today, where we have an update coming from the Honorable Apex Court of our country. Prohibition of cow slaughter, it is to be decided by the legislature, and the court, it cannot compel the lawmaking and it cannot get into the shoes of the lawmakers. This is what the Apex Court has held. So while dealing with an appeal against NGT's decision, which declined a plea seeking a specific direction for prohibition of cow slaughter, the Apex Court has held that the decision regarding the prohibition of cow slaughter, it is for the legislature to take and it falls within the realm of the lawmaking body. The court cannot force the legislature to come out with a specific law, even in exercise of its jurisdiction. The court also took note of the steps that are taken by the state governments for the protection of cows. And this has brought us to an end of our TNA. In case you want to get access to the free study materials that we provide or the TNA slides that have been used in this video, please feel free to join our Telegram channel, and for the same you may scan the barcode here or click on the link which is given in the description. These are the point of contacts in case you want to get in touch with us, and the quiz link, it is also made available for your kind consideration in the description of this video itself. Please go ahead and attempt the same. Thank you for being with us.